Welcome in, everyone. Cassie Soto here with you after the Raiders have announced their initial 53-man roster. Here to help us break it down is sports reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Sam Gordon. Sam, I say initial because come September 13th, this roster could look a little bit different. You never know with the Raiders. They took a while to release it, so they might be making some changes a little bit here in the coming weeks. But just your initial thoughts here as you saw this roster cut. Was there any cuts that stood out to you right away?
Yeah, Cassie, nothing crazy, right? I mean, I think this is the general the guys that we thought were going to make the team and the ones that stood out in camp and the ones that the Raiders have a lot invested in are the ones that are on this initial roster. Now, there is one name that I thought would make this team, John Brown, the veteran wide receiver, who's only 2 years removed from a 1,000-yard season. He had asked for his release, and it was granted to him earlier today. I thought he was going to make the team. I thought he was just given his veteran experience, his presence as a speedster with that receiving core. I thought he was going to make the team, but he wasn't necessarily a standout in camp, and he played a lot on Sunday during the preseason game against the San Francisco 49ers. That writing was kind of on the wall there that his role might not be what he thought it was going to be when he signed with the team during the offseason. So that is a little bit of a surprise. But for the most part, this is the roster I thought we would see. There's depth on the offensive line, depth on the defensive line, depth in the defensive backfield. And again, you mentioned that this thing is very fluid. It definitely is, because other teams around the NFL are making cuts too and had to make cuts today. And there might be somebody from another team that didn't make another team that the Raiders take a look at and might want to bring in. So again, it's early. This is the first look at the roster, but no huge surprises at this point.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the defense. You mentioned John Brown on the offense, but as far as the defense goes, it's great to see their rookie cornerback Nate Hobbs securing his spot on this defense. He went out this preseason. He showed up for this team. Is there anyone else on the defense that you're surprised either did or didn't make the cut?
No, the defense looks like I thought it would for the most part. You go back to Nate Hobbs, he graded out via Pro Football Focus as the highest graded defender in the preseason among those drafted not in the first round. So he was tremendous, and I think he's going to play a pretty big role. But when you look at the defensive line, particularly, and the secondary, those were areas in which the Raiders struggled. They went out and invested in depth in both of those areas, and you take a look at how that depth plays out. It plays out how we thought it would. Gerald McCoy, Jonathan Hankins, Yannick Ngakoue, Solomon Thomas, Darius Philon, Quentin Jefferson, Max Crosby, Clelin Ferrell, Carl Nassib, all comprise that deep defensive line. And then you go into secondary, very young, developing secondary with young guys like Damon Arnett, Meek Robinson, Keyshawn Nixon, Jonathan Abrams, Trevon Merrick, so on and so forth. So there is definitely depth in those areas, like we talked about, but no real surprises on that side of the ball.
Well, how about any cuts, Sam, that came on Tuesday? Any of these cuts that the players might end up back in a silver and black uniform? For myself here speaking, I thought that the cut of Trey Ragas was interesting. This was somebody that I thought would beat out Jalen Richard for that running back spot, but he got cut. Jalen Richard is still on the roster as of Tuesday for the Raiders. What do you think will happen there?
Yeah, I think there's a chance that, you look at a number of these players, practice squad may be a destination for them. And we know how often teams use the practice squad throughout the course of the season. Guys are getting called up all the time because of injuries, because of the attrition that comes with the NFL. So I think a guy like Dylan Stoner, the receiver that had a really good training camp out of Oklahoma State, I think he's a chance. There's a chance he winds up with the practice squad. Isaiah Johnson, the defensive back that known for his heroics at the end of the Chargers game in LA last year, seems like a likely candidate for the practice squad. And like you mentioned, Trey Ragas as well, who played very well in the preseason, the rookie running back. So just because those guys didn't make the initial roster doesn't mean they're not going to be on the team down the line. But to your point, I thought there was a chance that we see one of those other young guys emerge on the offensive side of the ball. That wasn't the case, and now they grind on practice squads with the Raiders or around the league. Maybe there's another opportunity elsewhere around the NFL. We'll have to see how it shakes out.
Yeah. All right. Well, if fans haven't circled it already, September 13th, Monday Night Football right here in Las Vegas. It's going to be a big day, and we will have all of your updates leading up to that big game at vegasnation.com. For Sam Gordon, I'm Cassie Soto. Thank you so much for watching.